You saw the title. Today we're going to be taking two of the biggest new releases. Number one, the Gold Pride cards that just came out, the brand new archetype of spammable monsters, including a bunch of level 3s, as well as our Terror Top monster that just came back to 3 copies in the deck. And we're going to revitalize and power up one of my personal favorite strategies on my whole channel, and that is our Phantom Knight Pile deck. This is glorious. This deck is absolutely insane. I think it's the combo from the old video remains the same, and I'm going to go over that combo in this video, of course, right? But the actual gameplay and the strength that the Gold Pride brings in terms of having additional follow-up and things is simply incredible. It offers whole secondary lanes, fallback plans galore. They're basically taking the place of the old danger cards, which, you know, were inconsistent at the best of times. So to be perfectly honest, it is all in all, if for no other reason than their spammable level 3s, a really huge power buff. Of course, the Terror Top to 3 as well, being a massive buff as well. Terror Top being a free special summon with a level 3, grabbing another free special summon level 3 in the Taka Tomborg. So all in all, this deck got a pretty huge power buff, and I'm excited as hell to start using it again. It is a 60 card pedal, and that doesn't exactly tickle everybody's fancy, but again, I'm just a huge fan. We may make small tweaks to the deck as we continue into the future here. I have removed the Raiders Knight and the Ark Rebellion sort of package. I don't think anything else really in the deck needs to be done. We did that to make space for our Gold Pride cards. Because the Gold Pride cards basically on top of our previous combo where you're going to end on Colossus, Sprite Elf, Borreload, and 1 or 2 hand traps as well. We also now have the ability to put up an additional pair of level 3s, which you can do like it's nobody's business in this deck. We're able to go into the Chariot Carry, which can then grab you your Better Luck Next Time, which then grabs, of course, your Leon or your... Most of the time, honestly, Rollerballer is usually the better grab because Chariot Carry tags out in the Captain Carry in the end phase, and then you have Rollerballer and Captain on field for your opponent's turn, and then you can Fusion Summon in the Pinballer on their turn. So the way it normally works is you're going to have your Colossus, your Borreload, your Sprite Elf, your 1 or 2 Fog Blades, depending on how hard you can go, as well as having as the +1 from Better Luck Next Time, and the Pinballer setup, which is just incredible. Everything about it's great. So I'm going to go in, we're going to do a few replays. This one's going to be fairly short. The games are a little bit too long for me to do live gameplay with this, so I'm going to show off some replays in this video, and then do a deck profile towards the end. If you guys want to see more of this deck, absolutely let me know, because I will do a follow-up video on it, and I will do like live gameplay if people want to see it, because I sure as hell want to play it. So if you want to see that, absolutely just let me know down below. If you have any questions about the deck and things like that, we are going to be doing a detailed deck profile at the end of this video. So watch the gameplay to see the combos, and then watch the deck profile at the end so you can get a full list of the cards. And without any further ado, if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed, like the video if you enjoy watching, and let's get into replay number 1. Alright, getting into game 1 here. The way this deck works is you basically want to have any pair of level 3s on your board, and that gets you full combo. Any 2 level 3s, right? Any of them. So this is just going to be one combination. It doesn't matter how you get them on board or what one specifically you use. Any 2 level 3s does the full combo. We have Better Luck Next Time on our opening hand here, which is good. We're going to grab ourselves a wee Leon here. Maybe we should have grabbed Rollerballer though in hindsight, but again, it's not going to matter. We're going to normal summon our Ancient Cloak and then special summon the Silent Boots. That gives us our 2 level 3s to go into the Invoker. This is why you need the 2 3s, because this guy is going to detach a material. We're going to grab the Heroic Challenger from the deck. We're going to summon it out. It's going to grab us Heroic Call, and now we're going to go into the Isolde. So Isolde is where you want to get to. Ideally, you want to have done it while having Hero Call in hand, and this card does come up later. But ultimately, whether or not you have to do it through 2 level 3s, or if you just open up the Heroic Challenger and do it that way, whatever it is, your main sort of target to start the whole combo is Isolde, right? And unsurprisingly, this card was recently banned in the TCG, so we're going to grab Kagemucha Knight. We're going to send Mikanko Arabesque to the graveyard. We're going to summon it Renaud, because Renaud grabs back the Arabesque. We're going to use the Arabesque to bounce Renaud back to our hand to summon Hare from the deck, which will then grab us the Mikanko Fire Dance. We're going to special summon Renaud because we have a Fire Warrior. We can now Synchro Summon using a 1 and a 3 into our Cupid Pitch. Cupid Pitch then boosts its level up by 1 up to 5. We're going to use the Fire Dance to bring back the Mikanko Hare. We're going to use Heroic Call, summoning out this. This is the part that I actually messed this up in the next replay. you have to summon out a monster, either through Heroic Call, or if you have like another extender, whatever, to go into Sprite Elf, and that's only so that you have a Link Engrave, right? I actually messed this up in the next replay, but we'll see. And then we're going to use these two to go into the Borreload Savage Dragon. Now, Savage Dragon is our first negate. Our Cupid Pitch then going to get searching our deck as well for any monster that has 600 defense. We're going to equip onto our Borreload the Isolde from the grave. Now we're going to search our deck for Nemesis Corridor, inflicting 800 points of damage to our opponent. We're going to use these Silent Boots. This isn't part of the combo. I just thought I would do this now. That triggers our Torn Scales here, actually. Torn Scales then, and the Ancient Cloak as well. Ancient Cloak's going to banish itself to grab a card from deck. We're going to grab the Phantom Knights of Brigandine. Again, that's not part of the combo, whatever. Now we're going to summon the Nemesis Corridor. We're going to tribute it off. We're going to summon out the Thunder Dragon Colossus. Now, this here, the Trifecta, this is the end of your primary combo, right? Now we're going to go for Leon here. And this is where, if you didn't already have Better Luck Next Time, because we already had this card, I decided what we're going to do instead of the Chariot Carry Line, instead of the Pinballer, we're just going to go into Star Leon. We're going to Synchro Summon using 2 to go into Star Leon. So we've got Colossus, we've got Borreload, we've got the Star Leon, we've got Sprite Elf, we've got Fogblade, we've got Droll. Man, it's just incredible, right? And it's so consistent. All you need is literally 2 level 3s. Any 2 level 3s. Our opponent's playing Branded here. Going to send Branded Fusion to the graveyard off of Albion. Going to use Fusion Deployment now, revealing Albion to summon Albaz from the deck. They're going to use Albaz, dropping a card for hand. They're going to try and fuse with one of our monsters. We're going to use Star Leon to quick play pop that card to prevent him from doing such. He's going to use that Retribution, grabbing Branded Fusion. Clever way of getting into the Branded Fusion with the Colossus on the board. A very, very smart way of doing it, but not smart enough, unfortunately, because we're able to pop that Albaz to stop the Fusion summon. He's going to go for the Branded Fusion. We're obviously going to negate that, right? I don't know what this man was thinking when he activated that card. He's already used Retribution as well, so it's not as if he can grab it back. He's going to go Triple Tactics Thrust here. Thrust actually playing Branded Banishment onto his field face down. I'm assuming his plan next turn is to try and fuse away a bunch of our big monsters, but we still have the Borreload Savage Dragon. We're going to go Star Leon, then we're going to summon out regular Leon from the graveyard. Going to draw a card off of Better Luck Next Time, drawing into the Max C, which is really, really cool. As we're going to go into our main phase 1 here, flipping up the Fogblade, targeting the Quen. We're going to negate its effect so we can start playing from our extra deck without any fear of Retribution from our opponent here. We're going to go into Break Sword, and at this stage, our opponent decides, you know what, Better Luck Next Time. So that is a really good example of the deck sort of operating at full capacity, or even just really any capacity. Like I said, it is super, super easy to get into this combo. You have a bunch of you have a few 1-card sort of starters as well, like, again, your Torn Scales, Rhoda, things like that are all 1-card starters. And then you've got an absolute shitload of 2-card starters. So most hands, you don't really have any trouble getting into the Invoker, because like it is, it's just 2 level 3s. And then once you're into the Invoker, the rest just happens automatically, man. It just does it by itself. It's crazy strong. But that's game number 1. Let's get into game 2. Alright, getting into game 2 here. This was a little bit different. So this replay here is to sort of almost answer any questions in regards to some of the issues. As you can see, we've opened up with our Heroic Challenger Morningstar, which is one of the bricks of the deck, right? But luckily, this card isn't really very much of a brick at all. We're going to go Torn Scales here. Torn Scales are being met by Maxi. We're going to, of course, hit that Maxi with Call at the Grave. We play a ton of outs to call to Maxi, so I'm not overly surprised by this at all. So we're going to banish that shit from their graveyard. We're going to negate its effects, of course. That does make our Triple Tactics Talent live, which I am going to use first, revealing their hand. We're going to get a look at our opponent's hand here. No more hand traps, and they're actually playing Branded. Now, if I was using my brain, I would not have sent Nadir Servant back here because he can't add cards from his deck to his hand. So what am I thinking, right? So we should have picked something else, but we send back the Nadir Servant. That's totally fine. Now we know that we're in the clear, right? We're going to go Torn Scales, dropping any card to send the Ancient Cloak to the graveyard. This is what makes Torn Scales a 1-card starter, because you send Ancient Cloak, which searches for Silent Boots, which is a free summon. And now, because we've got this guy in hand, instead of going into the Invoker and summoning him from deck, he has an effect that allows you to simply special summon him as long as you control 2 or more warriors. So we don't even need the Invoker here. We can just go raw into our combo, grabbing the Heroic Call nonetheless. Now we're just going to go into the Isolde without even worrying about the Invoker. So that's pretty damn awesome. So we're going to use the Isolde, grabbing Kagemusha. That doesn't matter. Whatever monster you search here, you can actually use off of the Isolde effect. We only grab Kagemusha because everything else in the deck we kind of want to use. And this card isn't really usable unless you open up with it. So the way I look at it, I normally grab this guy because if it goes to turn 3, turn 4, I can then fall back onto him. But he's not like key or integral or part of the combo in any way, shape, or form. So we're going to go, again, sending Arabesque to summon Renaud. We're going to grab back the Arabesque with Renaud, using Arabesque, returning Renaud. Very two-way relationship here, summoning out the Howray. Howray grabbing Fire Dance, entirely self-contained combo. As soon as you get in the Isolde, all of this is insulated. It is not in any way using external cards, so it is essentially like 2-card combos. We're going to go into the Cupid Pitch. Here's where I make a mistake. I actually forget to get rid of Isolde first, so our Borreload Savage comes out, but it doesn't have any Link monsters equipped onto it. All we needed to do there was go into Elf first, and then equip Isolde on, so that's a misplay for me. Small misplay. Now, it's actually a pretty major misplay, because we're missing out on an entire Omni Negate, which is a fucking huge deal, right? That's a really big fuck-up. But nonetheless, you must have went well if I'm showing it off, right? So we're going to now banish the Salem Boots from the graveyard after going in the Archsprite Elf. We're going to use the Fogblade here. We're going to use Torn Scales, bringing itself back from grave. Heroic Call. Heroic Call can bring back any warrior, including the level 3 Makonko that we're going to have in the graveyard from the combo. Meaning, all we need is one more level 3 to go into the Chariot Carry. Chariot Carry then, using its effect, are going to detach a Torn Scales. We're going to grab Better Luck next time. We're going to use the Better Luck next time, paying 1,500 life points to grab, 1,800 for the Roller Baller. We're going to go Nemesis Corridor here. We're going to shuffle back the Salem Boots. We're going to tribute it off for our Thunder Dragon Colossus. And then we're going to special summon out the Roller Baller to the field. And just like that, we do get to bounce the carry back the deck. We're going to summon out the carry onto the field. We're going to use our Draw 1 from the Better Luck next time and the search off our carry. That's 2 additional cards in hand, grabbing the trap. We can't use it this turn, unfortunately, but we've got it. We also draw in the Ancient Cloak, which is phenomenal follow-up. So right now on this board, we've got the Colossus Floodgate. We would have had an Omni Negate here, but I did my ordering very slightly incorrectly, so you can pretend that this is an Omni Negate, right? As long as you're not as stupid as I am. So we've got the Colossus Floodgate, we've got an Omni Negate, we've got targeting protection with the Elf. We have our Fogblade as well as our Roller Baller setup. Now, what does the Roller Baller setup do? It allows us to fusion summon during our opponent's turn into the Pinballer. And Pinballer is going to target 2 of their monsters, and it's going to equip those monsters onto itself. We just steal 2 of their monsters, which is insanely powerful. Now, we know that he has the Fallen of Albats in hand, so he summons it out, he drops a card, we hit him with the Fogblade, and that's all she wrote, right? GG's. If we had the Borreload, we would have been safe from even like an additional card in hand. I wasn't too worried about it because, again, we sort of knew his whole hand other than 1 card. So yeah, I was not worried in the slightest. That is, again, the sort of full Roller Baller version of the combo using the new Gold Pride cards, which I think just makes the deck so much stronger. And not only does it make it stronger, it means that it can play in other routes. It can play whatever its main combo gets disrupted. It can do other things. So I think the Gold Pride cards definitely bring a lot to this Phantom Knights list. And if you're a fan out there, if you're using this Phantom Knight list out there, then these are absolutely cards you should look into picking up. But anyways, let's get into Game 3. No deck of this nature comes without its weaknesses and downsides. Now, this is a very powerful hand. We're going up against Naturia, which is, unironically, a very powerful deck. They're going to go Runic Smiting Storm to summon out a Runic monster from their extra deck. I sort of am on the fence here. We go for Maxi. We also have Droll, and I'm sort of looking at it like, do we want the Droll here? Do we want to risk sort of losing out on our potential draws off of Maxi? Because if I Droll, then I don't draw off a Maxi anymore, and then he might just go nuts, and then I might not be able to break the board. So I decide, fuck it, I'm going to let him add some cards, I'm going to let him do whatever, and I'm going to save the Droll for later, right? So that's fine. He adds a couple of cards, that's okay. Goes for Talent, he's going to draw 2 additional cards, and at this point, I'm kind of low-key regretting my choice to not Droll, because he doesn't special summon at all, which, you know, it is what it is, I guess. We're going to draw into a second copy of Better Luck next time, which isn't fantastic for us. We activate it to try and bait out a potential negate going into the carry, paying 900 life points. We're going to go Terror Top now. Terror Top, in response to the Terror Top, is going to go for Camellia. Camellia then is going to summon back the Mole Cricket from the graveyard. We're going to grab Taku Tomborg, which we'll summon again. We're going to go into a Exceed here. We're going to go into none other than the Invoker. So the Invoker is the primary sort of combo starter for the deck, as we've already covered. We're putting Put in a very awkward spot here. He's got the Sunflower on deck. They're sending out the Sacred Tree grabbing the Naturia Blessing directly from deck to hand. We're going to go for Droll at this stage, because I know with that Runic Fountain, he's going to potentially try to draw more cards later in the turn, but that does eat up one of the Sunflower Negates. So at that point, I'm feeling somewhat confident. I'm going to go for the Invoker. I kind of know that he's going to negate and destroy this, but based upon my hand, I'm sort of thinking to myself, alright, we have more than enough gas in hand to sort of go just along the line of our Gold Pride cards. But then he hits us with Naturia Blessing and brings back the Sunflower. That I wasn't expecting, so we're in a bit of a different situation here. We're going to go for Carry being negated by Freezing Curses. Now that is, again, a slight problem, because that's going to make his Runic Fountain live, banishing a bunch of cards from our extra deck. He does banish the Hare, which, you know, at this point doesn't really matter. Gonna shuffle back 3, though, to draw 3 more cards, which is, of course, a huge problem. We do decide to swing in and take out the Sunflower before he negates anything else. We're gonna go for Gold Pride Leon, Synchro Summoning into, of course, our Star Leon. Star Leon hopefully is enough to carry us through here. Summons out the Cricket. We're going to use our Star Leon to try and pop the Camellia, but he actually protects it by having the Sacred Tree face down. Now, again, the huge blow there. We're not able to clear out the Camellia. He's still got the 2 Mole Crickets on board. Everything about this is just generally a very difficult spot for us. He does Ash the end phase effect of Leon, which I find to be very interesting, because that means we keep it on board for next turn, which gives us that interruption that we otherwise wouldn't have had. I mean, I guess we kind of would have it, because we would have just quick synced into it anyways. Going into Camellia here, off of course, the Trap card. Main phase 1, using the Runic Tip, we're going to get searching our deck for a Runic card. There is the Runic Destruction. We're going to speed this up here, because we all know the way this goes. We're going to go Stardust Charge Warrior. We're going to use the Leon then at this stage to pop the Stardust Charge Warrior, hopefully preventing any potential combos. They're going to pop our back row then, Naturia Blessing, bringing back the Camellia. Here we are, basically just spamming out the various Runic cards before shuffling 3 of them back into the deck to draw 3 cards yet again, plus 6 off of the one of Runic Fountain. Going to Synchro Summon into the Coral Dragon here. Coral Dragon, a very powerful Synchro monster, because it allows them to discard to pump a monster your opponent controls. They're going to go for Flashing Fire, then Flashing Fire, summoning out the Geary and the Coral Dragon going into Baron de Fleur. That's going to trigger Coral Dragon to draw an extra card and phase, because he doesn't have a battle phase, but playing through an Omni while we have 0 cards at our disposal is going to be virtually impossible. Better luck next time, of course, getting negated by the Baron. We're going to normal summon and try our luck here. We're going to go into Almirage off of the Rugged Gloves. They're going to summon out their Mole Cricket. We're going to banish the Rugged Gloves to grab from our deck to our hand another Phantom Knights card, but he hits us with an Ash Blossom. I highly doubt whatever card we grabbed would have been enough to potentially win us this game, but we wanted to try every avenue of approach before finally calling it quits. I think the deck displayed an impressive amount of resilience, considering the number of interruptions that we faced and the disruption to our primary line of combos. A lot of these 60 card piles, one of my biggest problems with them is that if their main combo doesn't go off, then they're just kind of dead in the water, right? And I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way. So even though, yes, we lost this game, I am quite happy about how resilient the deck sort of was shown to be in the face of such odds, in the face of a pretty powerful deck in Runic Naturia. We took an L, but we put up a really nice fight. So let's get in and we'll talk about the deck profile here. Alright, here is the list. So first and foremost, the thing about 60 card pads is that most of the time there are 60 cards because they want to play shit loads of engine. Most of them don't play any hand traps at all. However, we actually can afford to play quite a number of hand traps. So we play so many cards because our combo is so simple. We don't need to see any one particular card or even any 2 particular cards to get our combo started. So seeing a random assortment of monsters in our opening hands usually isn't that much of a problem. And in diluting our deck down using the 60 card count, we're far less likely to draw into Renault, into our Hare, into our Arabesque. Well, I mean, Arabesque is a pretty solid card going second and things, so you don't really mind seeing it, but you don't want to see Fire Dance, right? You don't want to see Hare, you don't want to see Renaud. You don't really want to see Better Luck Next Time, but it's not a terrible card to see. The only reason you don't want to see this is because you want to get it off of your carry later in the turn anyway. So usually if a card is searchable, you don't want to see it, but it's not a brick, right? It's still an amazing card. So there's not like too many actual bricks in the deck, but there's a couple of cards you don't really want to see in your opening hand that kind of screw you over. There's about 3 or 4 maybe. All in all, though, the deck, most of the cards in the deck, you're A-okay with seeing in hand. Like, the vast majority of these, 100%, you're A-okay with seeing all of these cards in hand. They're all really good. Even this guy. So let's go through and we'll talk about the hand traps first. Because we're playing such a varied engine, we can afford to play a really high number of hand traps. So we're playing the triple droll. We're playing the maxi. You can actually play pretty decently under droll in this deck, which is interesting. Playing the triple ash blossom. We're playing the double talent. We're playing the double called by, single crossout, double imperm. Is that it? Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, we're playing 16 hand traps. If you wanted to just play gas and you wanted 0 hand traps, you could play this as a 40 card deck. You could play it as a 40 card deck. So if you're really like opposed to playing 60 card piles, and you are a fan of playing just gas, or even if you want to rebalance the deck somehow, you could definitely cut things down and play it differently. Playing at a 40 would totally work. My only issue with playing at a 40 is that you're much more likely to draw into the cards that you don't want to see. Nemesis Corridor, Fire Dance, Renaud, Hare, right? You're much more likely to see these cards, which is not very good. So I think playing it at 60 is probably better, but I will leave that decision up to you. I know there's a lot of people who just can't get past the, oh, 40 is best mentality, and I think that's really close-minded. I think that's really close-minded. I feel like you should sort of... People play things for a reason, right? 60 card decks exist for a reason. They present a unique set of benefits and a unique set of challenges. So being able to analyze and assess whether or not those challenges or weaknesses overcome the strengths or vice versa is a very important part of deck building. And I think it's a part that a lot of people struggle with because we're so wired to believe this one thing, right? So do what you want, think what you want. That's just the way things are. So talking of the Renaud, so Renaud, again, part of the combo, you're going to summon this card directly from the deck off of your Soul Day by sending your Arabesque to the graveyard, like you saw in the gameplay. Renaud, on summon, will grab an equip spell back from your graveyard, so you're grabbing back the Arabesque that you just sent to summon him, which is insanely powerful. And he's also capable of special summoning himself to the field if you control a Fire Warrior monster, and if you were to summon him like that, he becomes a tuner. Luckily, again, as part of that combo, we're summoning out the Hare, a Fire Warrior. So Renaud becomes a level 1 tuner on re-special summoning. Kagemucha is just a level 3 extender. When you normal summon another level 3, you can special summon this guy from hand. He's also usually our backup as Soul Day Search, because you can't use whatever card you search, and if you don't have this guy in your opening hand, you're not going to use him, right? So Kagemucha is just an extender, but him being a warrior does make him slightly more useful. The 3 of Terror Top. Terror Top finally at 3. It was a very interesting move from Konami. I'm really glad they did this. Terror Top is a lot of fun, and I foresee a lot of decks liking this card, especially any deck that wants to play the MX Saber Invoker. This card can special summon itself to your field as an inherent summon. If you control no monsters, inherent summon matters a lot. And then, when summoned, you can also add a Speedroid from deck to hand. And what are you going to add? You're going to add our next monster, the Speedroid Takatomborg. This guy can, again, inherently special summon himself as long as you control a wind monster, which you will, you just summon Terror Top. So Terror Top is basically a 1-card invoker, which is your entire combo, right? This card does 1 card in hand, does the whole combo by itself, which is insane. This Terror Top and the Torn Scales are the only true 1-card starters, as well as, of course, Rhoda, right? So in total, you're playing 7 true 1-card starters. There's some finicky ways around it. You can do it with some other cards, but like if you want to talk dedicated, like I can have only this card in my hand or only this specific card in my hand. Torn Scales does need a discard, but these guys are the only true 1-card combos. So Terror Top is pretty fucking nuts. Then we got the Phantom Knights of the Ancient Cloak. This guy, so the way the Phantom Knights work is they're all level 3 warriors, and their primary usage is their effects in graveyard, right? So this guy can banish himself from the graveyard to add any Phantom Knight card from your deck to your hand. Very useful. Then we got Silent Boots, usually the card you're going to search for off of Ancient Cloak. And why? Well, this guy can special summon himself from the hand if you control another Phantom Knight card. Again, all of your Phantom Knights are level 3s, so this makes him exceptionally useful for going into your Invoker. He can also banish himself from graveyard to set a Phantom Knight spell or trap card directly to the field. Maybe it's, yeah, it is spell or trap. You can set it directly to the field, usually going to be your Fog Blade because it is a monster negate. It's like Fiendish Chain. So yeah, free special summon, Anti-Surges and Interruption, pretty fucking baller. We have Ragged Gloves. This guy can banish himself in the graveyard to send a Phantom Knight card from deck to grave. He basically just acts as almost like a intermediary card if you really want access to an additional interruption, if you really need access to your Ancient Cloak, or if you really need access to like your Torn Skills or whatever. This guy can kind of get you what you're missing, but he is one of the weaker Phantom Knights, so we are only playing him at 1. We have Psychic Wielder and Tracker, both of which can special summon themselves to the field if you control a level 3 monster other than, of course, itself. That's why we're only playing 1 of each. They're both just free special summons. The Phantom Knights of Stained Greaves, again, one of the weaker Phantom Knight cards, but still pretty useful, because if a Phantom Knight monster is special summoned to your field, you can summon this card from your hand, or you can banish this card from the graveyard to special summon a Phantom Knight monster from hand. In both instances, you get the option of increasing its level by 1, which is normally useful in decks that would employ Raider's Knight, right? And we used to use this card in our previous version, but we had to take it out to make room for our Gold Pride support. So we don't often use the level modulation effect of this card, but it is still a free special summon, right? Potentially even 2. So yeah, it's still it's a decent card. It's not as strong as the others in my opinion, but it's still definitely more than decent. We have Phantom Knights of Torn Skills. You can, while this card's on the field, you can discard a card to send a Phantom Knights card from deck to graveyard, which is incredible because, again, if you summon this guy, you can send Ancient Cloak to grave. Ancient Cloak banishes itself to search for boots. You can summon the boots since you already control Torn Skill. There you go, 1 card Invoker. So this guy is vital to play at 3 copies. He's pretty fucking insane. But he has another effect as well, where if this guy is in your graveyard and you activate the effect of a Phantom Knight engrave to banish itself, this guy then after that will special summon himself back to field. So let's say you have Torn Skills and Ancient Cloak in your graveyard, right? You activate Ancient Cloak to banish itself, you search for Silent Boots, then the Torn Scales will activate to summon itself back to the field. Now you've got a target on board for Silent Boots to special summon itself for free, bang bang bang, and you can really get shit moving. Mikanko is a vital part of the combo. Basically, when this card becomes equipped with an equip spell, you search your deck for another equip spell. That is vital in combination with our Arabesque and our Fire Dance. Your Arabesque is going to return your Renault back to hand to make its effect live to summon out Mikanko Hare. As a Fire Warrior, it's perfect because on summon it's going to grab you your Fire Dance, which is another follow-up card we'll talk about in a minute. And as a Fire Warrior, it allows Renault to summon itself out to the field as well. Being a level 1 tuner and a level 3 non-tuner on board for free allows you to go into your Cupid pitch. So Mikanko is just a vital part of your combo. Capable of being revived as well off of our Fire Dance later on to go into your Borreload Savage Dragon. Leon, getting into our Cold Pride support. Leon, basically the Cold Pride, sorry, let me talk about the 3 of these guys as a group. All of these guys can special summon themselves from your hand out to the field if you have less life points than your opponent, which is pretty fucking cool, right? That's why they synergize so well with decks like Punk. So they're free special summons on most occasions. And why are they free special summons on most occasions? Because you're ideally going to be getting access to 1 or more of them through Better Luck next time, which will reduce your life points. So ideally, you're either going to have this in your opening hand, or, well, sorry, that's not ideal, actually. As a fallback plan, you can just open this card, but even if you don't, you're normally going to be able to grab this card off your Chariot Carry, which we'll talk about in more detail in just a minute. So they're all basically free special summons, and they all have additional effects as well. Leon on summon can bring back another Gold Pride from grave, but it does lock you in the Gold Prides for the rest of that turn, so it's not an effect you're often going to use, but it is pretty fucking nice sometimes, especially turn 3, turn 4. It can also, during your opponent's turn, quick play Synchro Summon using Gold Pride monsters you control. So that quick play Synchro is really good in combination with the likes of Star Leon from the extra deck. So Leon's pretty sick. Monster Reborn, quick play Synchro, awesome. Free summon, level 3. He's a tuner. Everything about this card is fucking amazing. Then we have the Carry, again, a level 3 monster that special summons itself for free, which is insane. On summon, you get to grab yourself a Gold Pride trap card, Start Your Engine. So this is a searchable trap card that you really don't even mind opening up because it's still a really card. It's just a good card. So it searches for a trap card. Its third effect is kind of mediocre where it can like boost the attack points of a Gold Pride monster. That's redundant, right? Basically, it's a free summon that searches a trap, which is great. And lastly, we have the Roller Baller. So the Roller Baller is a little bit different. This guy has a quick play fusion effect. During your opponent's turn, you can fusion summon into the Pinballer. I talked about this during our middle replay, so I did where we summoned this guy out. So I talked about this whenever we were doing our middle replay, talking about the Roller Baller combo. So I did. So if you didn't watch the gameplay for whatever reason, first of all, what the hell are you doing? Get back and watch the gameplay. But if you have watched the gameplay, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. So this guy's pretty fucking nuts. Then we have Nemesis Corridor, searchable off a Cupid Pitch, necessary to go into your Thunder Dragon Colossus. Will return a banished monster back from your banished pile to your deck to summon itself. That is, of course, triggering the summoning conditions of Colossus as well. Lastly, we have our heroic challenger, Morningstar. Morningstar is an Earth level 4 warrior, and that is vital because of the MX Saber Invoker. This guy summons a level 4 Earth warrior or Beast warrior from your deck out to the field in defense. And why are we using this guy in particular? Well, this guy on summon is also going to search your deck for a heroic spell or trap card. So we're searching for Heroic Call. So he is summoned from the deck off of the Invoker. He searches for Heroic Call. And as well, again, if you watch the gameplay, you'll know he's not even necessarily a brick because he can special summon himself from your hand to the field if you control 2 or more warrior monsters, which means even by opening him up, you can still conduct your full combo. Not something that very many combo decks have. Usually when a combo deck is playing a Garnet, their combo sort of falls apart if they open it up. Not this guy. Getting into spells, we've got Foolish Burial, pretty self-explanatory. Rhoda, self-explanatory. We have Heroic Call then. Heroic Call, of course, searchable off of our Morningstar, will act as a monster reborn for any warrior-type monster in the graveyard. We have Living Fossil, which is yet again bringing back a level 4 lower monster from Grave. We're using this just in case we open up Arabesque. So it's not this isn't a bad card to just have in hand, which is why I don't mind running it. And if you were to just open Arabesque, which we run a couple of copies of because it's a really good card going second, it means that if you already have Arabesque in hand, you can actually use Isolde to send Living Fossil to the graveyard, to then use Renaud to add back the Living Fossil. So it's like a really good secondary equip target. And what makes it really good is that it doesn't suck to just have in hand. It's just Monster Reborn. It's Premature Burial, right? So because it doesn't suck to just have in hand, I'm more than happy playing it as a secondary equip target, because if you already have Arabesque, Living Fossil acts as like a really powerful additional extender. And that matters more now than ever because of the Gold Pride line. Again, Living Fossil could be the difference between you setting up a pinballer and you not having a pinballer. So I really do think it's going to be necessary. You could even play Arabesque at 1, to be honest. We used to play, I think we used to play additional Makonko cards before we put in the Gold Pride cards. So you could probably get away with putting Arabesque at 1 because you only ever use 1 copy of it. But yeah, in general, Living Fossil is a phenomenal equipped spell to just have in your deck for sure. Makonko Fire Dance and Arabesque are both key cards as part of your combo. Arabesque is going to be sent to the graveyard off his soul and then added back to hand off Renaud. It's going to be used to summon the Hare, and then when you summon the Hare, it's going to bring your Fire Dance from deck to hand. Once you synchro summon off your Hare into Cupid Pitch, your Fire Dance is going to bring back the Hare from the graveyard, and now you're going to have your level 5 Cupid Pitch and your level 3 non-tuner in the form of Hare. So very, very vital parts of the combo. You can get away playing 1 of this. If you don't want to spend the UR on it, if you don't have the cards, you can play 1 of this. Playing 2 of it's a little bit extra, to be perfectly honest. I didn't mind it because opening up this card just meant I got access to Living Fossil, so I didn't really mind too much. But you don't have to play 3 of it. Definitely not. If you want to make some room, if you want to play closer to 40, maybe you want to play it at 50, maybe you just want to play an additional hand trap at 60. I don't know. But yeah, you can cut this guy down to 1. I probably would play it at 1 from here on out. Gold Pride, better luck next time. On activation, you get to grab a Gold Pride card from your deck to your hand, and you lose life points equal to that monster's attack points, which of course is vital in meeting the summoning conditions of all the Gold Prides from hand. If your life points are lower than your opponent's, which they will be after this, you get to summon out those monsters from your hand for free. Now we've got our trap cards. Phantom Knight's Wing. You can target a monster in the field, it gains 500 attack points, and the first time it will be destroyed. This turn it is not. mediocre effect, but its primary effect is its second one, which allows you to banish it from the graveyard to revive a Phantom Knights card back from grave. It's a monster reborn from grave. Love it. We've got the Phantom Knights of Shade Brigandine, or whatever the hell this word is. Basically, this guy special summons itself out as a monster. It's a trap monster. And if you don't have any traps in grave, you can actually use it to turn it set. So you can, it basically just serves as a free special summon. Again, this card was better when we were playing the Raiders Knight, because it's a level 4, not a level 3. However, it's still a dark monster on board. It can still be used for the likes of your Rusty, right? If you want to go in the Rusty Bardiche, you can still do so utilizing the Phantom Knights of Shade Brigandine, right? So it can act as an additional extender, it can act as like material for your Assault Day, it can do a whole bunch of things. So it is definitely still worth playing. We're playing Gold Pride Start Your Engines, where if your opponent summons a monster, you get to target that monster. You reveal 3 Gold Pride monsters from deck, and your opponent will randomly play one of them to your field, and then you destroy the monster that you targeted. This is going to be searched off of the Captain Carry, which normally means you're not going to have access to it until like turn 3, which means it's not usable until turn 4, turn 5, through the standard combo anyway, unless you just like have Carry in hand, in which case, excellent, right? I mean, that's an argument for playing Carry of 3, right? Maybe your replacement for your second Arabesque is a third Carry. I could totally get behind that idea. So if that's what you're going to be doing, then that means you might have more consistent access to this card than even what I did. But this card is really, really good. I would definitely be playing it. It's a really good card to just have. And lastly, for our traps, we have 3 copies of course, the Fogblade, one of the most famous Phantom Knights cards. Basically, it acts like a Fiendish Chain. You can target an effect monster on the field and equip this onto it. That monster has its effects negated. It cannot attack and cannot be targeted for an attack either. This card also in the graveyard can banish itself to act as Monster Reborn, just like our Wings. So all in all, Fogblade is a fantastic card. We're playing it at 3 because, again, it's Fiendish Chain. Why would you not want to see it in hand? It's a good discard from hand as well, because it acts as Monster Reborn. So everything about the card is just great. There's no reason to not want to see it in hand. But if you wanted to cut it down to 2, you can. I wouldn't play it at anything less than 2. But you can cut a copy if you really, really want to. If you're trying to get the deck closer to 40, you probably would. But yeah, that's the main deck. So going back, putting in our cards again, we were playing, of course, the Triple Droll, Triple U, and W. That's 56. We had so many goddamn hand traps in here. It's crazy. We had so many. I don't even remember what our last cards were. I need to bring up the full list again. What was I missing? Yeah, double Imperm is what I was missing. Yeah, so the only changes I would potentially make to the main deck after playing it is dropping an Arabesque and playing a Fair to Carry. That's likely the only change I would make to the main deck. Maybe after playing it more, I would make more changes. I could see myself maybe dropping Ragged Gloves. I could see myself maybe replacing sort of Stained Greaves if I can find better level 3s to play. Maybe play the Dangers. There's some useful level 3 Danger monsters you could potentially play. So there's a few things we could do, for sure. Getting into the extra deck then, the extra deck is fairly rigid. There's not a lot of wiggle room in the extra deck. We do have to have the Colossus, which will be summoned off of your Nemesis Corridor. So long as this guy's face up on the field, your opponent cannot add cards from their deck to their hand. Pinballer then. Pinballer, of course, on summons, going to suck up your opponent's monsters up to the number of materials used for its summon, almost certainly 2. And if your life points are lower than your opponent's, which they normally will be, they can't actually respond to this card's... This card's activation and effect cannot be negated. So they can respond, they just can't negate it. We've got Cupid Pitch, which is part of your main combo. Again, on summon, it will boost or it'll increase or decrease its level by the level of the tuner it was used for its summon. So it'll boost up to level 5. And when used as synchro material, in this case for our Borreload Savage Dragon, you will get to search your deck for any monster that has 600 defense. Exactly, like Nemesis Corridor. We got the Star Leon. Star Leon, one of the brand new monsters. Well, during the main phase, you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls, gain attack points equal to that monster's attack points, and if your life points are lower than your opponent's, you also get to destroy it, which is big. And during the end phase of the turn in which it uses that effect, it does have to shuffle itself back to deck, but it will replace itself by summoning out a Gold Pride Leon from your deck or graveyard. So it basically replaces itself, and Leon then can bring back another monster from grave and blah blah blah, right? So this card, pretty fucking fire. Because it shuffles itself back, you don't need to play multiple copies, and our better luck next time, I didn't mention this actually earlier on, if a Gold Parade monster shuffles itself back into the extra deck as part of its effect, because they all do that, you get to draw a card once per turn, so it's an extra little +1. I should mention as well, Pinballer again at the end of the turn in which it's summoned and uses its effect will shuffle itself back into the extra deck and summon back the Rollerballer to use the suck up effect again. It's great. So yeah, Pinballer, pretty fucking nuts. Starleon, pretty nuts. We've got the Borreload Savage Dragon, which will on summon equip onto itself a Link monster from the graveyard and gain Boral counters per Link arrow or Link rating on the card. Most of the time it'll be a Link 2 in the form of Yurasolde, and once per turn it can use one of those counters to negate the activation of a card. So it's a once per turn omni-negate, which is fucking sick. Then we got the Invoker, which starts the whole combo. Any 2 level 3s brings this card out and on summon, or sorry, not on summon, but once per turn it can detach a material to summon a level 4 Earth Warrior or Beast Warrior directly from the deck. That's going to summon out your Heroic Challenger, and then this, your Heroic Challengers, 2 Warriors, now goes in the Isolde, and blah blah blah, the rest is history. Breaksword. Breaksword is an interesting card. I think this card is still solid going second, but it's definitely not as good in this list as it was in our previous list. So this card can detach a material to target a card you control and a card your opponent controls, and destroy them. If this Exceed Summon card is destroyed, you can target 2 Phantom Link monsters with the same level in your graveyard, special summon them both and increase both their levels by 1, but you're locked into Dark monsters for the rest of the turn. The idea behind that effect is you want to use those 2 newly summoned level 4 Phantom Knights to go into your Raider's Knight. Raider's Knight then can detach a material to immediately rank itself up, summoning out the powerful Arc Rebellion Exceed Dragon, which is a really big monster. It can't be destroyed by card effects, and it can detach a material to gain attack points equal to the attack of everything else on the field combined. And that's permanent. So it's pretty strong, and if it has the Raider's Knight on it as material, it also negates the effects of all of our face-up monsters in the field. So it's a board-wide boost and negate. Very, very powerful combo. Our extra deck is super tight. So you've got a couple of options. You could, if you really wanted to, drop some of these Link monsters that we're going to talk about to play the Arc Rebellion Exceed Dragon and the Raider's Knight, if you really wanted to, which might not be a bad option. Or you may want to just keep it as it is with just the Breaksword, or you may even want to cut the Breaksword in favor of more Link stuff, right? So we're going to talk about all those options in just a second. First and foremost, we got Chariot Carry though. Chariot Carry again, ideally the starter of your Gold Pride combo. This guy can detach a material to add a Gold Pride spell from deck to hand, which will be your better luck next time. It does also have the ability to mill a Gold Pride monster from deck to graveyard if your life points are lower than your opponent's. However, you normally won't be able to do that. Gold Pride Chariot Carry is what gets you the better luck next time, and better luck next time is what puts your life points lower than your opponent's. So unless you've taken damage through some sort of alternative means, you're often not going to be able to use that mill effect, certainly not as part of your turn 1 combo. So you'll have to settle for grabbing a spell, but that's more than good enough for our purposes, because your spell will simply grab you at the Rollerballer, which will summon itself, and the Chariot Carry then, during the end of the turn, will shuffle itself back to summon out the Captain Carry from our main deck. Captain Carry gets Surgeon, Better Luck Next Time will draw us a card, and the Rollerballer that we got from onto our field from Better Luck Next Time can fuse with our carry during our opponent's turn to go into the Pinballer. So it still does our full desired setup. So yeah, fantastic card. Everything about this is perfect. We have Almirage, which enables a couple more 1-card plays. Not exactly like phenomenal 1-card plays, so if you didn't want to play this card, I would understand. But it does make things like your Ancient Cloak a little bit stronger. And that's part of the reason as to why we're still playing cards like Stained Greaves. Stained Greaves is unironically pretty good because of the flexibility it offers you with the likes of Almirage and Ancient Cloak. So while you don't have to play this card, there are definitely a lot of hands in which you'll play that you wish you had it, right? Isolde, so this is the controversial card of the hour. This is like the Chaos Ruler of Phantom Knights, right? This card on summon, first of all, adds a warrior from deck to hand, but for the rest of the turn, you can't summon or activate the effects of monsters with that name, right? So that's why you don't add anything important off of this. We usually just add something like Kagemucha. But if you already have like Kagemucha in hand, then normally you're probably not going to use it at all. You just skip out on that search effect entirely. Because it's not mandatory, it's not part of the combo or anything like that, so who cares? The real part of the combo is its next effect that allows you to send equipped spells with different names from your deck to the graveyard to special summon a warrior from your deck whose level equals the number of equipped spells sent. So you're going to use the Isolde to send one equipped spell, the Arabesque, to the graveyard to summon the level 1 monster, Renaud. Renaud adds back Arabesque, Arabesque summons an array, and the rest is history, right? Watch the gameplay for the combo, but it's pretty fucking nuts. Isolde is basically the Chaos ruler of Phantom Knights, and it has recently been banned in the TCG. We may see a similar approach coming to Master Duel in the future. I can't see that being anytime soon though, given that Isolde isn't really making waves in Master Duel, but who knows, maybe this deck will be the one that changes that. Cherubini is one of the Link monsters I think is most expendable. It can send a level 3 monster from deck to graveyard, which is like neat in theory, and in theory I wanted to use it to get more consistent access to the likes of Tornscales and maybe set up my Rusty Bardiche a little bit more often. It is good for going into this card if you really want to go into Bardiche. It is good. It's just that more often than not, I find myself not using it, because Bardiche is awesome, but it's not really necessary. You would almost rather just have Sprayed Elf in the slot that this guy would normally take up. It's just messy. Yeah, Bardiche is awesome, but I don't know if he's worth playing a whole extra monster and giving up 2 level 3s on board just to go into this to get him, right? I don't think it's worth that. Especially given how valuable those level 3s could be. They could be your Invoker, they could be your Chariot Carry, right? So I really don't think he's worth the gas. So this is one of the ones, if you wanted to play the Rebellion Sea Dragon package, that's one of the ones that I would cut. Speaking of the main man of the hour, the Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardiche, during your main phase you can send a Phantom Knights monster from deck to graveyard to set a Phantom Knight spell or trap directly to your field. And that is insane because this can set up an additional Fog Blade, it can set up a additional extender with the Shade Brigandine or whatever its name is. So it can do a whole bunch of things, and if a Dark Exceed monster is summoned to a zone that it points to while the monster's in the field, you can target a card in the field and destroy it. So yeah, everything about this card in general is just awesome. It sets up additional interruption, it can pop cards, it's just good. And even the sending of a Phantom Knight from deck to graveyard is by itself almost worth running it for, right? Because that affects nuts, right? That's the entire benefit of Tornscales. It's like Tornscales, but better. So this guy is absolutely insane. Access Code Talker, the generic great card. Everything about it is fantastic. Banish Link monsters, pop cards, great. I would cut it. I would. In exchange for the Raiders Knight package. Again, after playing around, I don't really see myself going in the access code very often. And even if I do, I don't play enough links to make it very powerful. So I do think that Access Code Talker is one of the cards that you can cut, because our last card, the Underworld Goddess, I think is so much better, because it's a out to Pearly, it's an out to Psychic and Punisher, which you would otherwise struggle with quite a bit. So there are quite a few cards in particular that the Goddess outs and allows you to out, especially going second. So I would definitely play this card, especially given how easy it is for you to flood your field with this deck. But yeah, Access Code and Cherubini, I would cut in favor of the Raiders Knight and Arc Rebellion that we already talked about. But that's, again, that's my list. That's the revisions that I would consider. I leave the rest up to you guys. I will be revisiting this deck in more videos over the next, probably the next couple of weeks. I may even going to be playing it live once I'm back at home in the UK. I can't wait to get back to my own sort of recording setup and get back to full quality videos. Because, again, I love making content, but I love making content on my computer better. So if you want to stick around for that, make sure you're subscribed to catch more videos as they're coming out every single day. If you liked the video, if you got this far in, make sure you've hit the like button as well, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.